until Shadows of the Galaxy officially releases. And I find myself actually getting excited about it. And we're going to talk about that in a second. We're going to get into this week's prices, and I'm going to kind of wax philosophical a little bit because we're not seeing a whole lot of changes until we get to the showcase section. So let's get into it. So as mentioned, there aren't a whole lot of changes to discuss on the legendary side. You're going to find that there's similar things on the rare side, but as I leave it up here so people can view it, notably Cunning got a couple extra bucks, a few extra bucks increase there over time. Everything else, and Luke notably also dropped a little bit, but most of the changes are, not really significant. Things have stabilized. So that gives us an opportunity to look forward towards the future. What's the future? Well, as mentioned earlier, Shadows of the Galaxy, it releases in July, and it's going to be interesting, and we're going to try and focus this on obviously the financial aspect of things, because we had such a big wave of FOMO with set 1, because a lot of people were convinced, hey, I'm going to be able to get this stuff, myself included. And then all of a sudden product dried up, and then we saw prices skyrocket, and then they came back down a little bit, and they went up and they went down, and things are stabilizing, as you can see. And I'm not sure exactly how this is going to play out with set 2, because it's entirely possible that a lot of people looked at the game and said, that's great, but I can't play it because I literally cannot get cards. And I've seen people in comments on my own videos, comments on other videos, at my locals. There's a lot of that going around. However, a lot of those people could go, hey, set 2 is coming. I'm going to rush and get my pre-order in. And a lot of people seem to have been turned away by Asmodee, based on Reddit at the very least, where the pre-orders went up, but then were getting canceled in the last week or so. And I know a number of stores have also reported that they are not getting the huge quantity of allocations that they had hoped to get or had planned to get. That being said, I was fortunate enough to get my own pre-orders in, and the stores seem to, at least around here, be okay on that front. We'll see how things turn out. There's a lot of words coming out of Fantasy Flight and Asmodee as far as how the allocations are going to go in waves and what's going to happen. And truth be told, I'm very much in the I'll believe it when I see it camp, because after getting burned on set 1 a bit, we were told, hey, the product is there. And then no matter how much they printed, it's still sold out, which is great. People are excited. However, what are we actually going to see? In my opinion, I'm not super, my world wasn't set on fire by the previews thus far, truthfully. But I do plan on doing some other videos about the previews once we get a little more information, because context is important. It's entirely possible we get this incredible, say, Darth Maul, for example. I had to think for a second. Say Darth Maul looks great, and it does look really cool, but the initial wave of excitement gives way to, oh yeah, Vader is still there. Is the Underworld deck even going to want to be in green? Do you ramp to this guy? Is he a finisher? Is he this? Is he that? And of course, he's a well-known character, will probably end up on the fairly high part of this when we look at the prices for set 2. But just as an example, I don't really know the context that Darth Maul is going to be in, because the meta has obviously not been defined. We clearly need a lot more information. And once that comes to light, I can make a better assessment. So I'm going to make some guesses, and then maybe at the end of set 2, we'll do a video looking back on the guesses and be like, well, was I way off? Were we way off? Did anybody know? And we'll have to see. So I'm waiting for a little bit more context, although I have been looking at the prices, looking at the cards more closely as we are closing in on finishing up the previews. Let me know if there are any cards you want me in particular to talk about. I'm probably going to do that maybe on a live stream on Twitch, go through the spoiler when we have bigger chunks of it, and do a video about that. Let me know what you want to hear and see about that. So that was a lot of words, hypothetical and otherwise, about a variety of different things for set 2, but let's take a look at the showcases from set 1. Notably, we haven't seen showcases for set 2, so there's not a lot to talk about. Now, you'll notice on the spreadsheet that there's virtually no change. Sub 1% in the majority of cases. However, I also want to call attention to this. Now, this is a screenshot of the listing prices versus the market prices, and you'll see pretty much across the board, with like Palpatine's an exception, but pretty much across the board, you are seeing significantly, or at the very least, somewhat lower prices listing-wise as compared to market price. Now, market price is calculated on TCG Player based on a number of transactions happening. Now, as I discussed in previous showcase segments, the showcases just simply there aren't very many sales. And there are ones and twos here and there. And, Boba, I looked up specifically, somebody bought it for over $900. Somebody also bought it for sub $755. So there were only like 2 sales lately. You can check this yourself. You can look them up. It's interesting to see that the prices are coming down. We've clearly saturated as far as what people are looking for at the moment. If they come down further, yeah, we're probably going to see another surge up in prices, because then everybody goes, oh, they're quote unquote affordable now. I want to get me one of those showcases. And then that will drive up demand, and therefore prices will go up. But for the moment, there's a reason that you're probably seeing in a variety of Discords, Facebook Marketplace, obviously here on TCG Player, where the prices are starting to come down a little bit. Because if you wanted your Han showcase, or you wanted your Leia showcase, you wanted your Sabine Wren showcase, you probably shelled out for it already. And now it might just be people jockeying to try and flip some of these at this stage. Depending on how the Set 1 reprint actually rolls out at the end of the year, maybe we'll see them drop off again, and then longer term pick up when inevitably there won't be any more being added to circulation. It will simply be whatever's out there. And presumably, and hopefully, the game continues to grow, and this would be a good sign with these prices increasing. I know people don't always get thrilled about that, but with the prices increasing, that means there is a demand for it, and that there's people that want to acquire these things, certainly more than already have them. Prices then go up. It's kind of an indicator of game health and popularity. It's obviously not the only one. But those are just some quick thoughts, a little bit longer this week. Let me know what else you want to see and hear about. Like I said, I want to start shifting into Set 2 now that we're getting much, much closer. I'm still going to talk about the Set 1 prices until we get to that point, but I want to do some independent videos talking about the spoilers and other things. But that's going to do it for this time. So as always, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Tune in next time for more Random Thoughts.